by this conversation. I'm going to apologize to you if the comments I will make you remember certain experiences that you have either repressed or you deliberately avoid. But that being said, it is something that we all live with. It's something that we are still living with. Maybe most of us have not quite thought of it in the way and manner I am about to present it. So here's my question. Listen very carefully, please. What shared experience or experiences have you been dealing with? What shared experience or experiences have you been dealing with? You see, we're talking about shared trauma. In layman terms, shared pain, shared experiences, particularly of the bad kind when we talk about trauma. You see, shared trauma, also known as shared traumatic reality, occurs when individuals, including mental health professionals, that would be the doctors who are meant to treat it, and their clients, simultaneously experience the same collective distressing event, such as natural disasters, wars, or pandemic. Yes, we all remember 2020. It's the reason why we now have pandemic babies, because they are a totally different breed of children. Totally. You see, the shared trauma involves deep cognitive and behavioral responses, often forging intense emotional bonds, but risking shared unprocessed pain. And that's where I'm going to this morning. Shared unprocessed pain. So let me give you a very clear example, one that all of us in Nigeria experienced. The lockdown, particularly in the major cities. I remember when the lockdown was effected in Lagos back in 2020. After the first week, just the first week, Lagosians nearly ran mad. You had groups, armed groups, violent groups, trying to take over neighborhoods, trying to break into people's houses to steal food. And then, in not on a surprising turn of events, the residents stood up for themselves and said, no, we will not let you come into our place to come and attack us because you're an Agbero. No, we will fight back. Some people were hurt. But guess what both the Agbero boys and the residents, law-abiding, if you want to say, experienced? They experienced a shared restriction of movement. They experienced a shared restriction of economic activities. They all shared the restriction of engaging with their loved ones, with their friends, with their families. In fact, during lockdown, I think a lot of people now realize how important their own enemies were in their lives. Now, that's speaking as a society. I'm using that to explain to us as a society. Let me now bring it back to more intimate, more personalized scenario. Secondary school. Before I got into secondary school, right after I did my common entrance and I passed, excited, my father and his friend, who's late now, got into a vehicle with their children. That would be me and my friend. So we went to school, the school that we were trying to get into. We drove all the way to Edo State. It was my father's car then. We drove there, did the interview. My name was called. His name was called. We passed. We were excited. I will never forget having to be lifted by my father from where we were asked to wait. He lifted me up the ground to the staircase so that he can, carry me out and we can start driving home. He was so excited. I will never forget the smile on my father's face that day. He was so happy. My friend's father too, Mr. Imagwe, was so happy. We both did very well. And then at about 4 p.m., we started to make our way back to Port Harcourt. By the time we passed Patani, it was dark, ladies and gentlemen. And as we got closer to Port Harcourt, something very terrible happened. My first road traffic accident. Now, I do not know if it was my father's fault or if it was the driver in front, but I do know this. The road back then was very narrow. It was just one line. Those of you who remember the old East-West road, not this dualized one that we have today. We were sleeping. Next thing I heard was my dad screaming, his friend screaming. Both of them looked behind. They had their hands on us, trying to protect us because a bus had just hit us. It was a miracle that the engine did not fall out because the bus literally climbed onto the body of our own car. For weeks, if not years, when I would get into a car, I would immediately sleep. That was my trauma response. I would sleep because I did not want to see a car in front of me. I would immediately sleep. That was my traumatic response. And as I say this now, I know of a lady who, after surviving an accident, I think I've said this before, it's over 10 years. She has her cars, but she does not drive. And why? Because she had an accident with her child in the car. That's her traumatic experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I apologize if my comments are going to elicit something that you have been avoiding, something that you have been repressing for a while now. But I take some pride in sharing my experience and how I am dealing with them. My name is Jude. Let's have a conversation.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0002, 0817923-0003, 0817923-0002, 0817923-0003. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH. Then please do us a favor, send us a message on the WhatsApp platform. The number is 08090306416, 08090306416. As always, please do turn down the volume of your radio set. And please refrain from making derogatory or defamatory comments. It's going to be a bit of a sensitive one, but I'm hopeful that we can both, you and I, get to share our experiences and how we are coping with them. This one says, good morning, Jude. Let me tell you my story. Well, it wasn't too long ago that I was in a very good place with my siblings. When I mean good, I mean we were always having fun. We always had each other's backs. And then one very unfortunate day, we got robbed. Oh dear. Oh, this is already sounding sad. We got robbed. And the things that were done to us, I cannot say. But needless to say, these people were very wicked. Imagine having to use very heavy sticks and knives on children who really couldn't fight back. They took our money, they took our phones, but they didn't hurt us, apart from the beatings that they gave us. Since that day, it's been very difficult for me to sleep at night. I wake up around 1 or 2 every night with some sweat on my back. I go around my house making sure every door, even though I know I have locked the doors before I slept. Ah, yes. That feeling, I know. Oh, yes, that feeling, I know. That's a traumatic experience to have your home invaded with your siblings. You people are getting along, having a good time. It's a very traumatic experience. Like I said, shared trauma happens both at the macro level and at the micro level. As a nation, we all went through the traumatic experience of the lockdown. But individually in our homes, this is not unusual. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not unusual to wake up in the middle of the night. When thieves broke into our house as a child, for years, not even months, for years, I grew up knowing that my mom would wake up at 2-3 a.m. in the morning to go around the house, to come to our bedroom, to open the door, to check on us. Prior to that, as a child, you just sleep, wake up, no problem. But after that day, and it was always worse because by 3, automatically, our eyes would just be open. Our mom would come, say a prayer with us, okay, go back to sleep, or go and urinate, go and pee, go and ease yourself, because, one of us used to bed wet. So, hey, go on. So, yeah, I know, sir, is this our mother now? I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Good morning. I can relate with traumatic responses. I was kidnapped, oh my goodness, in Transamadi in 2019. Till date, if I get near Transamadi, it gives me this odd feeling. I can count the number of times in a year I go there. I unconsciously try to avoid that route. Frank from Rumudara. Frank, thank you very much. That's heavy. First and foremost, Frank, I'm happy that you got released, or rescued. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that's a traumatic experience. I'm curious how your family, waded through. If you can give us a bit more meat to this story, okay? Please. Okay. All right. Good morning, Jude. Imagine being in a space with your father and your mother, and then you get to see your parents go through something that you cannot solve. Well, that was my story a few years ago. Knowing very well that my parents had worked hard their life, but then came something that took away that joy, an illness, Jude. Imagine seeing your father, who used to carry you, behaving like a child. I wish that on nobody, Jude. Oh, that's heavy. That's very heavy. That's heavy. Having your parents, who you saw as strong, till tomorrow, I still see my dad as Superman. But having to see that person, that man, that woman becoming frail, old age, nobody runs away from old age. Nobody runs away from old age. But yeah, I know that feeling. I empathize with you, sir. I really do. Having sickness rob your father of his strength.